Hi, my name is Alan. Welcome to your daily news, your number one source of news in the UK. Tonight, our topic discussion will be everything about the pandemic of COVID-19 that was not a virus. Also, we're talking about some implications that the war between Russia and Ukraine got in the UK. And plus, what is going on with the vacation and all the traveling stuff in the UK. Stay tuned and welcome to your daily news. To get started, our mate Juan will introduce a note about if we should recycle COVID tests in order to stop contamination due to it.
Hi, Juan Isaguirre here again. Recycling COVID tests is a new topic that we have to think about. As you can see, Karen have just collected all her COVID tests from the last 2 years. Now just imagine how much has been created for a country in the last 2 years. It's a real problem. We asked to these three random guys if they have just thought about before and they have never thought about the waste of plastic. During the pandemic, people bought a lot of COVID tests and the sets were made smaller to reduce plastic waste. The idea was to make tests more sustainable, while making sure they stay safe, effective, and don't create potential biohazard issues. Put your test in the bin is not the answer of this problem. Also, there are other materials that can be recycled, for example paper. Young adults in different universities of the UK think that the government is not in real control of the situation, and the solutions are not making a difference. We used to think that COVID is spread mostly by contaminated surfaces, but now we know it spread mainly through the air. Put the test in the bin was the right thing to do, and now we know more about how COVID spreads, and we know that it's possible to recycle these plastics. This company is trying to reduce the problem. It's been recycling COVID tests using machines to produce things like dog kennels and plant pots. And now we have to keep things in the system. Take waste and make a new product is a good solution because the material is being used again. And
Thank you, Juan. Now, speaking about the pandemic of the COVID-19, the schools in England are about to wear face masks again in their classrooms. This trying to tackle down the Omicron variant that has been causing a struggle in the population of England. Take a look.
pandemic has not ended, and that's the reason why in UK the students are still wearing the mask. In Scotland, students have been wearing masks as they learn with the windows open for the last few months. Next week, English students will follow suit as the government tries to reduce the spread of COVID in schools. Mike, who is a specialist, says that the face covering is very much a short-term measure simply to the 26th of January when it will be reviewed because people need to know that this is an effective solution. Government knows that many children don't want to use the mask, but right now the face-to-face education is more safe in this way. That it is low risk to children, so he thinks that he will listen to what the government says. but he is not sure about imposing masks on schools because he's worried about their anxiety and their mental health, which has already suffered the last 2 years because of COVID and lockdown. Peter is a teacher at a high school, and he thinks that government is in control of this situation, but he doesn't want to wear the mask because he's tired of it. Also, he thinks that children need to study more now that they are back in school, but it's not going to be easy for children to recover their level. No one wants to return to remote learning where children were isolated.
Thank you, Juan. And stay tuned. After this commercial pause, we're going to still talk about the COVID pandemic and about some regulations about the traveling in our country. Stay tuned.
I'm Maylin Lee. I've been making my own moves, and nothing's gonna get in my way. Are you kidding me?
Streaming exclusively on Disney Plus.
It's some inconvenient genetic thingy. Yes! No! You're so cute! My life just got a lot more complicated. But maybe I like this new me.
OMG! Disney and Pixar's Turning Red. Original movie streaming March 11th exclusively on Disney Plus.
The nightmare begins. You cannot control everything, Strange. I did what I had to do to protect our world. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it. It was the only way. I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
Welcome back. Our mate Juan has also made a note about how the holiday plans are being disrupted due to the Omicron variant of the COVID-19. Take a look.
COVID is still affecting the life of people, and now has affected the life of students. In Scotland, a lot of students have to stay in the country, and they cannot take a flight on Christmas. In general, people in UK still having difficulty reaching their families. The new COVID variant that is called Omicron is almost in all the world, and that is causing chaos within airlines because there are people that have COVID and they cannot take a flight. In the US, United Airlines and Delta Airlines already canceled hundreds of Christmas Eve flights. Holidays will not be the same for millions of people that have to stay away of their families because they live or study in another country. COVID is still affecting their normal life in ways that nobody likes. Your mother is in Bosnia. You have not seen her for years, but because of these flight cancellations, you cannot go home. How do you feel? I feel sad. Right now I am in England because I am doing a master's degree here and I haven't seen my family in 2 years. I really miss them, but unfortunately I have to stay here on Christmas. I love this place, but I want to spend more time with my family. I want to go back for some days and take a rest on my hometown. More than 2,000 Christmas Eve flights have been cancelled globally, explaining their decision. Delta Airlines warned Delta teams exhaust all options and resources. Upwards of 150 cases per day are expected both Saturday and Sunday. In the UK, daily Omicron cases have risen beyond the peak of the Delta wave, and hospitals are quickly filling up despite this many still taking the risk to reach their loved ones.
Thank you, Juan. Now, the COVID-19 is not the only thing who have been restrictions about traveling. The UK are working to avoid excess tourism in the Balearic Islands. Take a look at this note made by Alejandro.
The United Kingdom wants to take about ex-tourism in the Balearic Islands. He urged that the entry of British tourism into European airports will be as smooth as possible. The UK ambassador to Spain, Hughes Elliott, explained today that the Balearic and British government are with its favor on sustainable tourism, that understand that there are limits during the holiday and that we must be respectful. Elliot has points on that the current situation is positive with COVID has and insists the rules of civility, mutual respect and message against excess tourism will continue to publicize the British media. Elliot, who met today with the president of the Balearic Islands, France argumented the discussion most related to arrival or summer has been confirmed the island will again have to 3.7 million British visitors of 2019 this summer before the pandemic. Elliot explained that at the moment there are only hints about the new summer, but the match appears very strong, very good, with a credibility to the fact that traditional summers are alt. The data with New Year very Elliot said a meeting with was also attended by the Minister of Finance and Foreign Relations, Rosalía Sánchez, the General Consular of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland in the Catalonia, Aragon, Andorra and the Balearic Islands, Joris Myriad and the Vice-Consul of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland in the Balearic Islands, Lucy Gorman. Controls. The ambassador downplayed the fact that the British must carry these passports with them and hoping to exist and entry through the Balearic and European airports will be has some possibility. Passports. The ambassador has been asked about the British government recommendation to its citizens to apply for the passport with against need number of requests that would to travel.
Thank you, Alejandro. Now, British are between the wall and the sword because they have the whole desire to travel and they have a difficult economy in the country. Take a look at this note made by Alejandro.
United Kingdom travels rules disproportionate and inconsistent. The way the government introducing international travel restrictions during the pandemic was inconsistent, confused individuals and passengers. The notice be and report with Transport Committee of the British Parliament released this Monday that confirmed both the aviation sector, which connected the country with the rest of the world, experiments serious economic difficulties with the government restrictions that were based on scientific concerns. When international travel reports in the summer of 2021, the English awards and passengers were subject of the traffic light system, we have opaque, habitual, and inconsistent government restricting international travel during the pandemic with disruption to the risk to the public health. This Monday, the committee chair be conversed and be used Harriman relaunched aviation tax reform and the late report on the Boris Johnson's exclusive action on the international travel during the pandemic, and our new now can support the recovery of the sector. The government now why be transport about decision on international travel resting where airports hit stress.
Thank you, Alejandro. Stay tuned for more news in our daily news. Stay tuned, please.
Winners are forever, darling. The rumors are true. And now the time has come. Bring back my winners.
The fans want us to compete again. They're getting the ring and let's go.
For the first time ever,
This is the all-winners season, the Tournament of Champions.
to be the best,
Did somebody call for an icon?
you have to slay the best. Who will be the queen of all queens? Get ready for legendary looks.
The level of detail, this is all world class. Time to show these bitches how it's done.
I don't think I'll ever say anything like that again.
You came out and just let everybody have it.
I'm not gonna hold back.
And iconic guest stars. Heaven must be missing an angel.
I thought that this was heaven, Rue.
I was thoroughly impressed.
It was gorgeous, it was opulent.
looked so hot, I'm about to slide off my seat.
It was incredible. I was wowed by this.
There's one more legendary queen I want you to meet.
What? What is happening?
Naomi Campbell. Walking on the runway in front of Naomi Campbell. This is my moment.
It was perfection for me.
The competition has never been more cutthroat.
You and I have the most history.
I thought we were friends.
Because it's all legends,
Do we do an alliance? Let's do it.
I am here to play the game.
all winners.
I'm so glad to be here with y'all. Thank y'all for being such good sisters to me.
I hope you're ready.
All stars.
Can I get an amen?
RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars new season streaming May 20th exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back. Now, speaking about travel in the UK, this country has several rules about traveling that most of the people don't like. Take a look to this note.
The bridging between her desire to the travel and the difficult economy of the country. The bridge her curiosity to travel again after pandemic, and Spain is the most popular destination for safe and value for money, says journalist Hernán Paredes, London correspondent for Informative Channel 5. However, she has also clear that this morning the situation very black the main concern of the bridge creation of the time economy, especially reaching the end of the month this April of everything is going to go up from the gas and electricity bill in the experiment to increment by 4% to the tax of the water mobility of the latest municipal tax on paint, according to the calculation prepared by the newspaper. The Mirror Britain family has averaged around 13.45 euros per this with the rate present of the bridge drop in living star shines explained in the Integrative for April magazine on Hostelry.
Thank you, Alejandro. Now, speaking in another news, British oil company BP loses almost 20 million until March due to this debt from Russia. This because the war of Russia between Russia and Ukraine. Take a look.
Good morning to all viewers. Today I come with recent and relevant information about something that has had a great impact at the beginning of this year. I will start with the first note, which is the following. British oil company BP loses almost 20 million until March due to its departure from Russia. Without taking into account the impact of the flight from the capital of Russia after the start of the war in Ukraine, the profit exceeds 6 million euros. British Petroleum buying for Russia is on track to be one of the most ruinous deals in its long history. The British oil company announced this Tuesday a loss of $20 million in the first quarter of 2022, compared to the net profit of $4 million recorded in the same period of the previous year. These very large red numbers also come at the time when the rest of the large European energy companies are making strong profits in the wake of high oil price. Our decision to exit of share building in Russia resulted in the significant non-cash charge and loss that we are reporting today, but our strategy or finance framework or our shareholder distribution expectations have not changed, said Bernard Looney, CEO of the London-based company. The British oil company announced in the departure from the shareholding of the Russian counterpart. At the end of February, just three days after Vladimir Putin began the invasion of Ukraine.
On another news, the arrest for drug trafficking of the Prime Minister of the British Virgin Islands could return the territory to the control of London. Take a look to this note made by Emmanuel.
Hi. The arrest for drugs trafficking on the Prime Minister of the British Virgin Islands that could return the territory of the control of London. The Prime Minister of the British Virgin Islands was arrested in Miami for alien drug smuggling and money laundering. Agents from the USA Drug Enforcement Agency DEA possessed its cocaine trafficking for a Mexican cartel to arrest Andrew Fahey. Fahey accepted payment of $700 in exchange for alien trafficking using British Virgin Islands ports, according to charges filed in the USA. The agents also arrested a British overseas territory port authority and a third person in connection with the case. The Prime Minister is now in custody and faces charge of drug trafficking and money laundering. Its political system is that of a parliamentary democracy in which the Prime Minister acts as the elected head and government alongside in the British exclusive appointment governor and this time John Rankin. Documents leaked from the Panama Papers, Pandora Papers, and Paradise Papers revealed that these islands are popular tax haven.
Speaking again on this war between Russia and Ukraine, they imprisoned British soldiers who appear on Russian TV asking to be exchanged for a Putin ally. Take a look to this note by Emmanuel.
Russia and Ukraine they imprisoned British soldiers who appeared on Russian TV, asking to be exchanged for a Putin ally. Two British soldiers allegedly captured by Russian force while fighting in Ukraine have appeared on Russian state television pleading for help from British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Sean Pinner, 48, and Aiden Aslin, 28, appeared in two separate videos on Monday, asking to be exchanged for a Putin-allied politician who is being held in Ukraine. It is not known whether his request to the Prime Minister might through the Russia 24 channel were forced. The Foreign Ministry in the United Kingdom urged the Kremlin to observe the humane treatment of prisoners. A source for the foreign minister condemned the exploitation of prisoners of war for political purposes.
Thank you. Now stay tuned for our last segment, the entertainment segment, where we are going to talk about the other Queen of England. Stay tuned.
Now starring in the McDonald's Happy Meal, Sing 2! Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal.
I've got an idea for a Heinz ketchup commercial. I was at this super posh restaurant. Super posh. The type of place that has chandeliers and paintings on the wall and way too many forks. I think classical music was playing, but maybe it was jazz. No, definitely classical. The hostess walks up to me and she says, "Mr. Sheeran, is this your first time dining with us?" And I say, "Yep." The waiter comes over, he's telling me about the specials. Super fancy, fancy vegetables, fancy sauces. I said, "Sounds fancy." So fast forward and the food comes. The waiter goes on to tell me, "We are proud to present this farm-to-table blah blah blah, posh and fancy blah blah blah, with a side of blah blah blah." You know, the food looked good. I just thought there was something missing. So I reach into my bag and I take out the only thing that can complete me. And at that point, the whole world came to a stop. And the waiter was screaming through his eyes. So that's my idea. Do you want to do it?
Welcome back. Now, in our entertainment section, we're talking about the other queen from the United Kingdom. That's right. The American competition show, RuPaul's Drag Race, celebrated their first ever international version. This called UK versus the World, which has as a basis the UK. It participated 8 queens, 3 from the UK, 2 from the US, 2 from Canada, 1 from Holland, and 1 from Thailand. Last month was celebrated the finale of this competition, and turns out that Blue Hydrangea, the Ireland citizen, won the crown and the title of Queen of the World. Yeah, that's right. We have another queen. In another news, the UK trio and former group Little Mix will announce that after finishing her last concert, they are planning to release solo music. That's right. Legian, Jade, and Perry are going to release music, and they are planning their careers as a soloist without clashing each other in the charts. This as words of Legian and Perry. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in here. See you next time, maybe. Bye.